What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about if the open world Harry Potter RPG will be announced at this Back to Hogwarts event on September 1st. Now, this is something that a few people had sent my way, so I do want to thank anybody that did send it. Thank you so much. And I wanted to give this the time of day. Look, I know there's a Reddit community, which I haven't paid much attention to, mainly because I just try to do my own thing. I've been accused before of stealing things on stuff, but none of that stuff is true. And I think just being on those kind of pages would probably hurt my case even more. But I do know it exists, and I popped on it from time to time over last couple days, and I did see that this was kind of a topic of conversation of, is it possible it could be announced here? So before I get into it, I kind of want to just pump the brakes on it, just to kind of settle down expectations. Look, I think this game, because, on a YouTube perspective, I'm really the only one that pumps this game up in the way that I do it. I really do believe this game is still coming. I don't want people to worry, and I think that's very important that I kind of say that every single time. The game is real. The game is coming. Don't worry about it, okay? Now, the question is, when exactly is it going to get announced? Well, we have DC Fandom, which is obviously tomorrow. Very, very exciting. We know it got split into two parts. I know a lot of people are saying, we want an announcement of a Harry Potter fandom. Now, this Back to Hogwarts thing doesn't seem like a Harry Potter fandom, okay? So maybe let's just read it, and we'll go over my reaction on it. So watch our first ever Back to Hogwarts live stream. So this is normally in person, but now it's now it's a live stream. Over the past number of years, we've loved seeing fans flocking to London's King Cross station, right? So it's just an in-person kind of thing, and it's not even formal, to celebrate Back to Hogwarts Day with a good old-fashioned countdown. To reflect the Hogwarts Express leaving platform 9 3/4 at 11 o'clock sharp, visitors at King's Cross famously count down to the magical time. However, this year we're asking that you don't do it. On September 1st, we'll be hosting a Back to Hogwarts live stream with special contributions from all across the Wizarding World family. Now, when I first read that, I got excited, but then again, lower your expectation because of this next part. Expect to see cameos from familiar faces from the Harry Potter films, such as Jason Isaacs and Bonnie Wright, and members of the Cursed Child production. Join us in the Wizarding World-inspired activities. Watch signed concerts, perform a very unique digital concert of music from Harry Potter, enjoy a wand choreographer, Paul Harris, with a very special presentation, and much more. Two guests you can expect to see are the two, the Weasley twins, okay? They gave their quotes to it. It says that they'll provide further updates. It talks about how basically there's a bunch of stuff that you can buy, like different merchandise and stuff, but it doesn't mention anything really outside of what they said. And I you could probably say, well, duh, you know what I mean? But it doesn't hint, basically what I'm saying, it doesn't hint to anything gaming-wise. Now, I know, again, I went on the Reddit a few days ago, and people were saying, nothing Warner Bros, related has even mentioned this, on social media. Now, they're busy, I assume, right, because Warner Bros is getting ready for DC Fandom. Maybe they'll pump this up afterwards, but Warner Bros Games hasn't pumped this up. Warner Bros Interact, none of the Warner Bros arms have pumped this up at all. So I really think, and again, just because of what it is, it's an anniversary. Now, anniversaries are important. I've always loved talking about anniversaries. I've always put a lot of stock into anniversaries over the time on this channel, just because I feel like if you're ever going to announce something, I feel like for me, it's just a nice thing to do it on an anniversary, okay? You don't have to, obviously, that's not, and honestly, most times they don't, okay? But at the same time, it's a solid thing to do. I really think what we're just waiting for is a Harry Potter fandom. There's rumors that Fantastic Beasts 3 is starting to film in September, so we're going to start having Harry Potter news. And again, I keep going back to it. I think it's very, very important. And I think, to give people credit, too, I think people, for the majority of people, are on the same page, that we all do know that this game is real. We know the game is coming. We just kind of have to be patient. And it's annoying, but we have to be patient. I do think there are still some people out there, though, that because of the lack of announcement, do get scared. And I don't think that's wrong, by the way. I just think that people get scared and say, okay, well, maybe the game's been canceled. Maybe the Warner Bros. Trying to sell off stuff. Again, go back to Jason Schreier. Go back to all the talk of this game was going to be announced basically after DC Fandom. One thing at a time. That's important to note, right? We know at DC Fandom they're going to announce the two DC games back-to-back, which I think could, in a way, hurt each other. I don't think maybe right in that moment. I think maybe in different ways than people expect, but maybe it does. And obviously, Harry Potter doesn't really fit there. So you wait a couple weeks later. I've talked about Gamescom. I've seen people talk about Gamescom as well. Doesn't seem likely, right? Jeff Keighley continues to talk about it. It really doesn't seem like that's the kind of stuff we're going to get at Gamescom. But really, right after that, I think it's go time. I don't think we're gonna have to wait till the Game Awards. Now, I've said that before, so I could definitely be wrong another year, but I really don't think they're gonna make us wait till the Game Awards. I think that we're at a point where, again, it was supposed to be announced in June. Here we go with things being announced late August. Harry Potter's really one of the last holdovers. Now, you could technically even say there's more Warner Bros. Stuff that they're holding on to. I've talked about Lego Star Wars in terms of a release date for that. I think that'll probably get its release date at Gamescom. But you have like Monolith, like they've been working on a game for a very long time. What are they doing? I think Harry Potter's close. I really, really do. Again, maybe not on release date. Maybe I think, again, fall of 2021 is the earliest we'll see that game. But I think the announcement is coming. I don't think it's at this thing. While this thing seems cool, and I may even watch it, I didn't even know this existed, obviously, until I saw it. I didn't even know Back to Hogwarts Day was a thing. At the same time, it's not talking about anything like that. Like, there's not even mention of Fantastic Beasts. There's really no mention of the movies besides, like, people from the movies going, but just celebrating kind of an anniversary. You know what I mean? Or kind of celebrating an important date, I should say. So I think that's kind of all it is. Again, when I first saw this, I was like, oh my God, like they kind of talk about, especially early on in the article, they do kind of talk about it as if you're going in and you're really hoping for it, you could probably like convince yourself that it's almost like a Harry Potter fandom. But I don't even know, honestly, because I've seen a lot of people pump that thing up. I don't know if we'll actually get a Harry Potter fandom. We'll have to see how that works, because if they're filming Fantastic Beasts 3, they can't really talk about it while they're doing it. They're going to be busy. You can't throw a full day event like they're doing. DC fandom's 24 hours, but in all reality, it's really like 7 to 8 hours of content, and then they just repeat it 3 times, okay, or 2 times after that. So, I mean, in all reality, it's like 8 hours. But still, 8 hours, it's because they're doing so much. Harry Potter, could you talk about Fantastic Beasts 3 and this video game for 8 hours? I mean, yeah, but you're not going to. You know what I mean? So I don't know if we'll end up getting a Harry Potter fandom, but I do think the announcement is soon. Like people have said, this is first. And I think what's important to note, too, is it really does matter the order. And especially when it comes to, like, insiders, a lot of things are going to be said, I think, this weekend. We're going to get a lot of information on Batman, on the Suicide Squad game, not just from the trailers and from the talk of the developers, but then insiders can finally come out and say what they know. And then beyond that, then we kind of go to the future. We're going to probably hear about stuff of those games, in terms of hey, if they don't give release dates, hey, here's the release date. And why am I saying all that? Well, we get all that done, and then maybe in the same time they say, because people ask these insiders, like, hey, what about Harry Potter? They ask it all the time. And I think eventually, if they're talking about this DC stuff, I will give you a prediction here. Jason Schreier sometimes does this. A couple other insiders sometimes does this, where if people like kind of bombard them, they'll give like a they don't really care kind of response, but that is actually, filled with something. So I could see, if people ask about Harry Potter this weekend, I could see them saying, like, they're focusing on DC fandom, Harry Potter's coming in a couple weeks or a month or so. I like something like that. Kind of throwaway, kind of maybe to get the person off their back. You know what I mean? Like, kind of in a mean way, they could be answering it. And again, this is just a prediction. I don't know if this is actually going to happen. But, you know what I mean? And I've seen that happen before, where it's kind of like a, hey, just get lost. Like, stop asking me this question. But in their response, they kind of do give info, where it's like, it's not the time yet, or it's coming very, very soon after it, or this is first, and then that's next. You know what I mean? Something like that. And I think that will honestly give people some confidence, because if people do that, or if we get answers like that, then it's like, oh, all right, well, there's the confirmation that it's still coming. It's just not coming right now. It's coming maybe in a few weeks, maybe in a few months. Again, I don't think we're gonna have to wait till December. I really do think beginning of September to maybe like late October. Like I said, I really feel like that 2 years of the game being leaked is important. Again, it's not like an anniversary date, like, oh my God, they're going to celebrate 2 years of this game being leaked out there that they don't say anything about. But I think it's just like, you don't really want to go more than a couple months, honestly, and they let that go. But I don't see this going to December. I think it'll be solved before then. But, right now we're in the middle of this DC fandom journey very, very soon. And what's more fun too is I'm like the only one who talks about it, so it's going to be really fun discussing all this stuff with you guys. Obviously, there's going to be people that jump on this game once it gets announced, because that's what people always do, but I'm very, very excited. talk about DC fandom, and then also very shortly, hopefully, talk about Harry Potter quite a bit. You guys see the stuff I've done on DC fandom over the last couple of weeks, basically like daily videos. I would love to do that on Harry Potter, and I will once we get more information. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think this is going to be announced at this Back to Hogwarts event? Do you think that maybe they're just waiting till DC fandom is over and then they'll talk about a Harry Potter thing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up, and thank you all so much for watching. Keep the hope alive. It is gonna, it is real. It is coming. Obviously tomorrow's DC fandom, but I think the Harry Potter fandom, or literally like the fans of Harry Potter, it's our time to shine very, very soon after, okay? Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next Harry Potter video.